This is actually really interesting, my friends. This video is actually making the point that the Midwest can become the most important region in America. Let me ask you this right away. Would you agree with that? I end up asking you if you are from the Midwest, leave me a comment. But even better than that, tell me from what state, because the Midwest is so big that someone from Chicago is completely different than someone from Indiana, right? Or Michigan. So please leave me a comment, my friend. Today I'll be reacting to why America needs the Midwest. My friends, this is a really interesting question, but before I go into that, let me ask you for one thing. If you can leave a like, thank you so much. It's the best way to show support. Now, if you can subscribe, well, in that case, forget about it. You make my day. Have that in consideration. Link for the original video in my description, and let's play it.
America has a problem. Well, to be more precise, it has a few of them. From
Like what?
aging infrastructure and climate concerns to imbalanced population density and rising income equality. From urban decay to suburban sprawl, poor city planning, congestion, and a cost of living that's out of step with median wages. These
Okay, my friends, do you guys agree with those points? I think a lot of those can also be applied to Europe, to be honest. But the thing that I thought was really interesting mentioned there was the imbalanced population problem, probably in America, because a lot of you guys tell me that there is a lot of places in America that have a lot of people. Then there is a huge area, more or less in the middle, right, in America that no one lives there. So this is actually kind of true. Makes sense, right?
kitchen table issues have become a
Actually, let's turn it back. And of course, inflation. I mean, my friends, this is not only in America, it's also in Europe. Quite bad, actually.
income equality, from urban decay to suburban sprawl, poor city planning, congestion, and a cost of living that's out of step with median wages. These kitchen table issues have become a real distraction.
Prices in the U.S. are climbing at their fastest rate in 40 years.
Between inflation and me, inflation's winning.
It wasn't always like this. No, several decades.
So the thing is, here inflation, I think right now is a bit more under control. But for me, the middle class is the class that struggles the most, to be fair. Not saying that people that are really poor don't struggle, but the middle class, and this is a better way to say it actually, is kind of disappearing. We have a lot of people with a lot of money and we have a lot of people without money. But I think a great nation, and I think American probably applies to this very well, needs to have a strong middle class, right? The sweet spot almost. Would you guys agree with that?
Decades ago, the US was roaring into an era of newfound prosperity, with a booming middle class and growing stability. Back when the Midwest was touted as America's heartland and its greatest source of a bigger and brighter future. Of course, it didn't quite play out like that, as the manufacturing core behind its incredible rise broke down when the factories that the region depended on most left for places like China, while millions of residents moved away, which left the Midwest in a frenzy, struggling with decay and decline after losing the most productive portion of its tax base.
We had a lot of vacant houses that are beautiful brick houses people walked away from when they were underwater in their mortgage. We started auctioning them on our own website.
While we often see these terms, Midwest, Rust Belt, and Great Lakes used
I'm sorry, my friends, this video is amazing. So there is a lot of abandoned houses without anyone in places like the Midwest. Man, I was not aware of that.
interchangeably to explain this general area of the United States, where coal-worn Appalachia overlaps rural New York, and former factory towns like Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Gary, Indiana are looped in with the nation's third-largest city of Chicago and places like Indianapolis, Detroit, and Madison. That definition of the Midwest misses the forest for the trees, as the Rust Belt is just a small economic region that includes portions of New York and Pennsylvania, while the Great Lakes region is located as much in Canada as the United States. The Midwest is more important and widespread, stretching us as far north as Minnesota and North Dakota, and as far west as Kansas and South Dakota, as the Midwest is arguably the most important region of the United States.
Really?
Maybe not today, probably not in the next few years, and perhaps not even for another decade or so. But eventually, the same kind of circumstances that made Detroit America's 5th biggest city and Cleveland and St. Louis its 7th and 8th will resurface, providing the Midwest with a rare second chance at economic and population success.
Wait, sorry, but isn't Detroit still a very rich city? Maybe I'm saying something really stupid, but Detroit is very famous. Maybe because of Eminem. But no, but for real, Detroit is a very famous American city, right?
It won't be like it was back in the 1950s, a time when Americans were still proud to be making things, and the Midwest was the nation's fastest growing economic engine, but it might be more similar than you would expect. This is a map of the expected future drought in the United States. This one depicts severe weather. This one looks at flood risks.
Phoenix also ranks 11th worst for daily particle pollution, also referred to as PM. While ozone is typically invisible, you can oftentimes see the results of high levels of particle pollution.
As you can see,
actually, yes, you can see there is basically a bunch of clouds. This is a city, right?
You can oftentimes see the results of high levels of particle pollution.
So I was watching at the commentary, this was years ago, probably, maybe 1 year ago actually, that China also had this problem with pollution. But right now they are doing much better. I think they went electric in a lot of stuff, to be fair.
You can see climate concerns cast a shadow over many of America's most popular cities and regions, and those concerns are significantly worsened by the depletion of important water sources like the Colorado River due to overpopulation and overutilization. But then there's the Midwest, often overlooked despite its vast natural resources, good soil, and nearly 70 million current residents. The Midwest is located near Canada, one of the
Let me run this part back because you end up mentioning a couple of things there that I really want to pay attention. Sorry, my friends, but this is important to me. You know what? Leave a like if you enjoy this type of videos. I know sometimes they are a bit boring, but for me, honestly, I love it.
like the Colorado River due to overpopulation and overutilization. But then there's the Midwest, often overlooked despite its vast natural resources, good soil, and nearly 70 million current residents. The Midwest is located near Canada, one of the nation's top trade partners, and borders the prosperous and populous Northeast Corridor with proximity to 4 major North American mega-regions.
Wow, this is actually really interesting, my friends. This video is actually making the point that the Midwest can become the most important region in America. Let me ask you this right away. Would you agree with that? And when you think about, yes, you guys in the Midwest have the corn, the soy, all of those are big businesses, right? And seems like even factories can come back to the Midwest. This video is so interesting.
Midwest is home to important U.S. institutions like Northwestern University, the Cleveland Clinic, and the Chicago Options Exchange, along with the headquarters of essential American businesses like McDonald's, Boeing, Target, and General Motors, and some of the world's most famous attractions like the Mall of America, Mount Rushmore, and Willis Tower.
Holy, the Midwest is almost the perfect place in America. My friends, anyone watching from the Midwest, leave me a comment or a like if you are watching from the Midwest or if you like the Midwest, because this video is actually talking about amazing points for that region.
Midwest is fast becoming America's most geographically stable region with less climate concerns, a central location, and easier topography. But it's also a powerful region, with a level of infrastructure and amenities that are only possible because of what the region once represented. That's why the Midwest is making a real comeback. It isn't even a question anymore or some kind of hypothetical what if. It's a process that will take time and hard work, but Midwesterners, known for their strong work ethic and family values, are ready to bring back the kind of prosperity their region was once known for.
Come on, can I get a like for my Midwest people? For Americans overall, of course, but this is really good. I mean, having a strong Midwest region in America makes America great overall, right? Because it's crucial, basically.
I think the US on the whole is ready for it too, as the Midwest is the most affordable region of the United States.
You know what? Can I be honest? I love the American suburbs. They look so beautiful. Beautiful America strikes again.
States with solid overall safety and, like I was saying before, natural, economic, and geographic advantages. That and regular folks are growing tired of the natural disadvantages, overpopulation, and rising costs of America's current growth regions, as the balance between economics and population can be very delicate.
Okay, but there is a problem. There is a problem with the Midwest, right? There is no oil. I don't think there is oil in the Midwest like there is in Texas or California, right? California have oil, I think so also. At least Texas, I know that they have oil for sure. And you know, the oil is so kind of runs the world when you think about it. But apart from that, yeah, the Midwest have a lot of great stuff.
The Midwest's journey to resurgence starts where its last boom left off, as it still boasts some of the nation's strongest manufacturing chops. In fact, 24/7 Wall Street says that when you account for percentage-based economics, Wisconsin and Indiana depend on production jobs more than other U.S. states, with both states having a manufacturing workforce that doubles the national average. Of course, the
Wow.
Midwest wouldn't be evolving if it weren't changing, and its comeback is based mostly on modern growth industries and a shifting workforce. In 20
Wait, do you guys think so? The Rust Belt is in the Midwest, or at least some part is in the Midwest. Do you guys think the American government can still make those factories be back to life, if that makes sense? Or they have to do everything from the scratch? You know what I'm trying to say? Because if you guys already have the Rust Belt, just make that belt not rust. You know what I mean?
2021, John McCormick of the Washington Post argued that Midwestern cities are diversifying faster than any other U.S. cities. That's due in large part to the region's affordability, but also how years of decline have resulted in lean cities open to unique opportunities, and a lower cost of living and labor in the Midwest has granted opportunity to young
amazing.
entrepreneurs that simply wouldn't have had a chance in traditional incubator cities like San Francisco. That's why, despite my belief that it's unnecessary to give every place its own Silicon City moniker, the Midwest as a Silicon Prairie makes a lot of sense. There are plenty of high-ranking universities in the Midwest. Northwestern, the University of Chicago, Notre Dame, and the University of Michigan all have the capacity to add the kind of highly skilled graduates needed for a modern technology-based economy.
You know what, my friends? I know I have a lot of people watching from Chicago because I can see that on my stats. And I just want to say I appreciate all of you guys. But overall, from the Midwest, Midwest is such a big region, right? That I end up asking you if you are from the Midwest, the Midwest, the Midwest, leave me a comment. But even better than that, tell me from what state, you know, because the Midwest is so big that someone from Chicago is completely different than someone from Indiana, right, or Michigan. So please leave me a comment, my friend.
Western workers also enjoy a growing capacity to work from home, giving them access to businesses that otherwise only exist in the most expensive US cities at the cost of an Ohio, Missouri, or Kansas.
You know what? I'm actually thinking about visiting the Midwest. I said that I'm going to New York, Texas, and there is a third state. The third state could become a Midwest state. I was thinking about this. I don't know, maybe a state that most YouTubers don't go there, you know what I mean? Because I also want to bring some different to you, my friend. I was thinking about, for example, I had a couple, but I was thinking, for example, about Indiana, actually. Do you guys think Indiana is a good choice to visit? I don't know, it sounds great.
It isn't just the option to work from home, startup endeavors, and the emerging tech scene taking over the Midwest, though. The region has become central to modern logistics, opening its doors to some of the nation's most recognizable distribution businesses, with millions of square feet of warehousing opening near places like Indianapolis, Detroit, and Milwaukee in recent years. And over just the past decade, venture capital has quadrupled in the Midwest, with a total of 18,000 startups in the region today. While Salesforce recently placed its second largest U.S. office in Indianapolis, Infosys is building out a 3,000-person office in Indianapolis, and Intel has committed to investing $20 billion in Central Ohio. Two former Sequoia Capital founders launched Drive Capital in Columbus, Ohio, and Upstart's HQ2 in Columbus has surpassed the company's Silicon Valley headquarters. Detroit startup StockX raised over $150 million in 2021, while Chicago startups SpotOn and ShipBob raised a total of $500 million. And Ohio VC funding surpassed $2 billion last year. Turning parentheses into commas, in the region of the United States that needed it the most, and Midwestern cities haven't only been focused on diversifying into these growth sectors either. The region has invested heavily in quality of life improvements, building from their depleted tax base and labor pipeline, with concentrated moves in education, infrastructure.
Oh, you guys saw it? Sorry, I always pause it. I mean, it is what it is, but first of all, I'm not gonna lie. Those fire things are looking so beautiful.
Depleted tax base and labor pipeline, with concentrated moves in education.
The yellow bus. Can I get a like for the yellow bus? Man, this is so iconic.
Infrastructure,
You know what I'm going to criticize this video. They are not talking about corn and soybeans. Why is that? I feel like the Midwest have so much power when it comes to the Midwest to the production of soybeans and corn, right? Because you guys even can export all of this. So I don't know. I think this should be a bit more mentioned, right?
And city development by renewing aging roadways, turning urban blight into green spaces, and pushing for 2-year degrees and technical certifications. And the Midwest's new regional rail plan, which looks to build one of the nation's most complex high-speed railway systems across an area about the size of France, is looking...
It's amazing. America is so big that you do a structure, all of a sudden is the size of France. Yeah, great. And France is like 10 times bigger than my country or something.
to get started in Chicago soon. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe. Here's another video of mine that YouTube thinks you will enjoy.
Oh, friends, thank you so much for watching this with me. It really means a lot you guys end up staying until the end. Wait. Why America needs Alaska? It's not the oil. My friends, leave me the number 6 if I should watch that one. Actually, I really wonder why America needs Alaska apart from the oil. Maybe for military, but this could be really interesting. That said, again, thank you so much for watching. See you guys in the next one. Bye, my friends.